here's what's happening that's new. We have our little drawing here. We got everything going. Imagine, so watch this. I'm going to change this a little bit. We're going to be nice and quiet for a second, guys. Okay. Instead of that being 5, 5 was the pain in the ass in this problem. 5 was Pythagorean theorem. 5 was a fraction. 5 is a pain in the ass. So what math people did like 400 years ago, they said, hey, what if instead this number was just the number 1? It was just the number 1. It would change this guy. You don't have to know this. I know this because I'm a dork. It would change that to 0.8, and it would change that to 0.6. Again, I'm a nerd. I know that stuff. You don't have to know it. But here's what's cool about this. Now, all of a sudden, doing SOHCAHTOA is super easy, because if I needed to do sine, all I have to do is go 0.8, because it doesn't have to go over 1 anymore, right? Because over 1 is just the same. So it's super easy. I just take that guy. And if I want, Liam, I need you to be quiet for just a second. If I want to do the cosine, it's super easy. I just go to 0.6. And here's what's even crazier. This point right now is 0.6 comma 0.8. So if I knew that point, I wouldn't have to do any work, like no work at all. You'd say, what's the sine? And I'd say 0.8. You'd say, well, what's the cosine? I'd be like 0.6. And I'd be like, well, what's the tangent? And I'd be like 0.8 over 0.6, right? Because it's so easy if that bad boy's 1, right? I don't have to do any work. So that's where we're heading. We're going to change this guy into having this thing be 1. And here's what's crazy. Eventually, we're going to know a bunch of points that work on it so we don't have to do any math. And there's a real easy pattern to it, right? So that's where we're heading. We're going to do a thing to here, the big finish here. This is called the units. Oh, God. What happened there? The unit circle. And on the unit circle, the radius is, and here's why, 1 unit. We don't know if it's 1 inch or 1 mile or 1 foot. We don't know. We just know it's 1. That's why it's called the unit, 1 unit circle, which means this. It means this guy, 1. 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 All of these guys, 1, right? Every single radius in there is 1. And that's going to make things really cool, because as long as I know the points where it hits, I know the sine, the cosine, the tangent, everything, as long as I know where it hits. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So the first thing that I need you to write down, and this is the most important part, this is kind of the foundation of this whole thing. So on the unit circle, write this down. Unit circle. The key is this. The sine of theta will always be the y coordinate. And the cosine of theta, anywhere on this damn circle, anywhere, will always be the x coordinate. And the tangent will always be the y coordinate over the x coordinate. That's the trick. That's a trick to the unit circle right now. Because think about it. We could even do cosine or cosecant and secant. You know what you do? You just flip them. You just flip them upside down. Everything's done for us with us out not having to do any math. And if you go back in a time machine to 1979 and see me with my big hair, you would say, look, you don't, we're going to have calculators, you weirdo, and you actually will have a husband. You won't be sad and lonely and just, playing with your calculator on the weekends. You don't have to use a table. You don't have to use anything. So here we go. This is our goal. Now, let me tell you where we're heading. We're not heading there today. Eventually, by the end of tomorrow and next week, we are gonna be able to build a thing that looks like this. We're gonna know all of these points, every single one of them. We're gonna even have them memorized. No, I swear to God, there's a cool pattern. There's a pattern that's so cool that I had a kid who's got pre-calc now text me earlier this year, and he's like, "What was the hand trick to do the unit circle?" And I'm like, "Here's how you do it." So you're gonna be like, "My God, this is so easy." But we're gonna take it in small enough bites that it's not gonna freak you out. Today, we're going to do what I call the big four, right? And again, what your teachers did in Algebra 2 Trig last year, they did all of this. And I'm going to spend a 2.5 days on it. So we're going to start with the big four. And here's what. We're going to talk about these 4 important places on your circle. We're going to talk about this point, this point, this point, and this point. Now, these points are important because they have 2 things happening. One is they have a coordinate, like 4, 7, or 8, 21. I don't know. We're going to figure that out. They also have a degree, and we're going to talk about that. And next week, we'll talk about a thing called a radian, but don't freak yourself out on that. So the first thing I want you to do with your neighbors, I'm going to help you on the first one. You're going to do the other ones by yourselves. The first thing I want to know right here, I want to know what the heck is that coordinate. You actually know what it is. I went over how many to get to that point? 1, because it's a unit. How many up and down did I go? 0. There we go. We've done our first coordinate. Can you please, with your neighbors, get this coordinate up there? Remember, we made it a unit circle, so it should be really easy. Oh, wait, we just went up 1, right? I heard it. I heard it over there. Someone said it. 0, 1. Awesome. And now sometimes we go positive, sometimes we go negative. How about this point over here? -1, 0, right? Over -1, down 0. How about this point right here? 0, -1. So good. Okay, that's half of it. Now let's put on the degrees. You know the degrees here. This dude, 0 degrees. How much is that guy up there? 90 degrees. He's 90 degrees. How much is that guy right there? He's 180 degrees. Awesome. How about the bottom guy? I always mess up him. 270. I have a hard time remembering him. I don't know why. He's like my bane. Hey, and guess what? I actually have another one on this guy. I can make it 0. What else could I make it? 360, sure. And truthfully, couldn't I make it a lot of things? Couldn't I make it 720? Couldn't I make it 1080? I mean, couldn't I keep going around and around? I could. So here comes the magic. Are you guys ready? Watch this. I would like someone to give me the sine of 90 degrees without doing any work. So watch what we do. Sine is the y coordinate, right? So we go to 90. What's the y coordinate? Done. Done. If I wanted to know the cosine of 180 degrees, what would it be? -1, because it's going to be the x guy. Here's my hint. They go alphabetically. Cosine happens before sine. X happens before y. Does that help? So here's what I want to do. We're going to build a little chart right now together of all of these. And look, like, you didn't have to look it up. You didn't have to push it in the calculator. You just, as long as you knew you had a little unit circle, you were good to go. here's what we do in here. We take a unit circle test. I have you fill it out, and then it's yours to use forever and ever on a test or a quiz once you pass that test. Okay, so here we go. Somewhere, what I had kids do last period is to make this little chart, they folded up a little bit. They folded it. But if you want to make your little chart somewhere else, we're going to make a little chart, and the little chart's going to look like this. Are you ready? We're going to go like this. We're going to have EEG. We're going to have sine. No, let's do cosine first. Okay, you ready? Make your little chart. Everyone's got their triangle, their circle. They're ready to go. It's so easy. So let's start at 0 degrees. I'm going to make a little line here. So I'm going to play back. Let's start at 0 degrees. What would be the cosine of 0 degrees? Go to 0. It's going to be 1. What would be the sine of 0 degrees? 0. Now be careful on this one. What would be the tangent? 0 over 1. Because it's sine over cosine, right? Or y over x. So this is our x, this is our y, and then it's y over x. Kind of like slope. Everything is always y over x. Okay, let's move ahead on our little on our little circle. How about 90 degrees? How about 90 degrees? Take a look at him. What is going to be my cosine of 90 degrees? Right there. 0. Beautiful. How about my sine? 1. Now this one you're going to have to be a little careful on. This is one I don't love. It's 1 over 0, but are we ever allowed to have a 0 in the denominator? We're not. And you know what we call that in math? We call that undefined. And you know what? Here's something that's going to scare you. We're going to graph these at some point, and you know what that'll be? An asymptote. It'll be an asymptote. But that's for another day. That's 2 weeks away. How about 180? Can you do the chart yourself with your neighbor? Take a second. I'll talk you through it in a second. Do your little chart. I got -1, 0, and 0. How about 270? Moving down on my little thing here. I'm going to switch back to blue. I'm going to say 0, -1. Ooh, we got another undefined on that guy. Here's a pattern. Check this out. Look at that. Undefined up there, undefined down there. So many patterns on this guy. It's so easy to memorize. And guess we're back to our starting point. Can you do 360? What do you have to do a 360? I don't even have to look at my damn stupid circle. I just go back to this guy. And here it is. It's 1. It's 0. It is 0. Now I'm going to throw a scary one at you. Are you guys ready? I'm going to come up here. I've got it right here. You might need a little bit of a calculator for this, but I don't want you to do the sine. I don't want you to do it on a calculator. I want you to use your little chart here. But I would like you to find for me. I got it. Sorry. 20 plus. I would like you to do 990. 990. Oh, back in the day, poor Mrs. Tarantino looking up 990 would be such a pain in the ass. Here's what. I only like it when there's 0 to 360. So I got a bunch of twirlies in there. Subtract them out. Get rid of all those extra spins. subtract out 360, subtract out another 360 till you are back in the in this stuff, right? This is the stuff we like. We don't like that 990. So subtract out some stuff. So when I subtracted, I got to 270. Did you get there to 270? So I'm back to 0, -1, undefined. How about one last one, and then I'm going to let you work on this. The last one I want you to do, I'm going to think about this one a little bit. Hold on. I'm going to take, oh, this one's going to be a hard one. You guys ready? Oh, -540. What if I just said, I'm going to go crazy here. I just want to know the sign of -540. You don't even have to do everything. Guess what? I don't like negative. So instead of subtracting all those twirlies out, what am I going to do with that 360? Add it in. Sure, just take that -540 and start adding 360s till you get in the range that you want, right? Till you get in the range that you want. Did you get 0? Yeah? I got 0. Yeah? Welcome to the unit circle. That's it. So here's what happens tomorrow. We add in 45, and if we have time, we do 30, 60, 90 as well. So, huh? Was that me? Oh, no. Okay. I'm going to